Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome to a new video. This is being recorded on Tuesday, being put out on Wednesday. Hopefully midday, hopefully early. Hopefully you had an earlier MCN that I delivered out. Things go well, fingers crossed. But yeah, I wanted to put together a video about some of the best champions to put in your deck, your champion deck, draft, and also utilize against some of the metas and stuff. So before going anywhere, I want to give a massive shout out to Misty K. They put together an amazing infographic, links in the description, and as well there's a shout out in, of course, the spreadsheet that we do, just to kind of showcase this. So this is amazing. I thought to myself, like, oh, I'll put together something detailed, but when somebody's done some good work, then it's, wherever you can, shout it out. And, we've got to shout out Mr. K's work, including this amazing infographic, which you can see on screen with some of the various different champions as part of the decay tactic and pill tactic, just to kind of whet your appetite. And as well, nullify immune options, buff immune options, shock and bleed immune, which play into some of the gladiator circuit meta. So we're going to go over some of that, but of course there's going to be some champions that are going to be some of the better option or best option to use. Some in attack loosely. The problem is it will be the rotation around what the pain of defense is going to have. And we say pain of defense in a very loose term because, look, at the end of the day, there could be pain, there may not be pain. As part of the attack tactic, which you can see on screen, attackers are immune to placebo buffs whenever they trigger a buff immunity, inflict 20% wither debuff on the opponent, lasting 8 seconds max. 5 attackers gain 35% resistance to damage over time effects for each debuff on the defender. When the defender is knocked down, there's a 25% chance per debuff active on them to inflict a 10-second slow debuff. So yeah, that kind of helps out with matters when the enemy is going to have that unstoppable, which it can be a little bit frustrating. I think more so when you get into the gladiator circuit side of things and sugar pill. So from a point of view of getting out of victory track, it's going to be a bit of a weird one. You may still want to use decay based champions, you may want to use buff immune champions, and you may want to use anything that can counter stuff. The problem is you can prepare yourself as much as possible for the likes of Battlegrounds and find that some of the defenders that are being put at you via the meta or not playing into the meta, you are literally going to have to adapt and learn what is going to be the regular thing, like regular champions that are just going to be thrown at you. What am I talking about? I'll explain more in a second. Okay, so defense options or defender-based options, solid defense options will be the likes that play into being annoying around buffs. So ones that punish back buffs. And of course you'll counter that. You'll try and counter that with the counters we'll talk about in a minute. So I've put a little note at the top of this particular page which says in a nutshell, setting defense nullifiers will be annoying as counter with the decay champs or nullify immune or buff immune. Good defenders will be pill tactic champs who nullify. You're trying to catch a player who will put a buff reliant champion. So I don't think you're going to be choosing the likes of your just buff heavy champions. A lot of the time I just don't foresee that happening at the moment in time. Hercules maybe, but look, I think people are going to be very careful about buff champions and cosmic champions as well. To a degree, there will be some exceptions to that rule. Last time, loads of champions were affected. I don't want to give away too much. Anyway, the likes of this time defenders like America Chavez, Darkhawk, Dormammu, Ebony Maw, Hulk, Kindred, Mangog, Man-Thing, Mojo, Mysterio, Rintrah, Werewolf by Night, Wiccan, Wong will be solid defense-based options, and it's likely to see that. I also foresee a lot of very kind of regular, annoying defensive-based champions. Sorry, defender-based champions. Absorbing Man probably will be there. Apocalypse, Atuma, Baron Zemo, Bishop, Dragoman, right the way down to your Mojos, your Molemans. Well, kind of Moleman actually is falling out of favour with that. Mr. Negative, Nick Furies. Your Novas, your Penny Parkers, the list goes on. Like they'll, regardless of the ones I mentioned Mojo twice, but you'll see the regular annoying defender options that'll probably be used in this one, and probably to great effect. Because at the end of the day, going missed counter based champions, like you're gonna have to find some very interesting options, and I think there's going to be some frustrating matchups with performance. So yeah, like countering what you normally counter against some of these defenders is going to be very frustrating. So moving over to like some attacking based options. And for this, you may be like, okay, well, I might use Nullify. I might choose Nullify Immune Champions or Decay Tactic Attack Champions. And the Decay the Decay Tactic Attack Champions, Angela's, Gwenpool's, Cassie Lang's, Cap Infinity War, Hulk's Hitmonkey's, Kate Bishop, newly added Morbius, Photons, Quicksilver, She-Hulk, Silk, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Ham. Titania will be a double effective one because she's buff immune. And of course, buff immune champions will be great options as well. Your Mega Sentinels, your Overseers, Spider-Man 2099, Titania's, Gallons, whatever. So there's going to be options. There's going to be lots of options against different types of elements, especially trying to get out of victory track. I want to say this might be more of a... this might feel like a hard slog. And I don't know if it's going to be a good idea by Kabam or not. This is going to be a very interesting time with this meta. I don't know. I can't predict the future with it, but there's definitely a lot of intrinsic and complex placements and pair ups that could be, good or bad. Decay's got some good #Decay's got some good kind of options for there. I got to be honest, I haven't as well. I haven't put up like anything there. Massacre is a good champion, by the way. I should have really put him in this this list of options. Killmonger is kind of good, but he's more of a defensive based option. But look, at the end of the day, you'll find the best solutions and options. I'm already thinking about how I'm going to set up my deck. I mean, I'm more interested of like how I'm going to do Act 8.3. That's my kind of priority in the next 24 hours. But I definitely over the weekend have to do a lot of arena grinding and as well a little bit of Battlegrounds. Just kind of like start, slowly creeping up because it is very grindy. And I'm a bit concerned this month might be a bit grindy when I really wish it wouldn't be. But in any case, going on to the subject of getting into Gladiator Circuit. So with Gladiator Circuit, I foresee some really interesting defender options, as this does have Staggering Beauty and Prey of the Week. So Staggering Beauty is while close to the defender, the attacker gains a stagger debuff every 3 seconds, nullifying their next buff, staying far away from it. Yeah, it goes off. I would say that champions that are stagger immune could be good, or interact with, how we said about buff immune options. Anything from the previous lists. By the way, this is available in the link in the description. And also, like, decay-based champions are going to be good because Sugar Pill will be when this unstoppable passive comes in, and you need that slow debuff to suppress that. So that's there. So I think this is going to be okay. Weeks 1 to 2. Weeks 3 to 4 is a bit of a I say a bit of an error because it's got Hazard Shift, Bleed Shock. Now, that puts, I would say if you need to do a push, it's going to get rough in 3 to 4, weeks 3 to 4. Weeks 1 to 2 are going to be okay. Weeks 3 to 4. Striking Defender has a 40% chance to inflict the attacker with a shock debuff. And also if you, on the rotation, bleed, you're essentially kind of looking either hit the champion when you've got a shock immunity, when they're doing shock, or bleed immunity when they're gonna bleed you. So it's either you double immunity, so you got your Korg, Sandman's Thing, Corvus, Absorbing Man, Nebula, Emma Frost in diamond form, Magneto to counter some of the #metals. It's up to you, but you do have to still bear in mind that we still got this annoying kind of decay and sugar pill. So it's kind of like, oh, be warned. Be warned on this one. I'm already thinking to myself, all my usual suspects to use, I'm not going to be able to use. So Yeah, if I'm like, okay, well, I'll bring in Human Torch or I don't know, yeah, Human Torch. I'm like, don't think that's a wise idea. Especially, it may work, but I'd have to be very careful on how I rotate. But the same problem still persists, that Decay and Sugar Pill are probably going to kill off any kind of like structure that I might have for my my champions in kind of like rotation. But that shouldn't discredit any kind of like player from setting up how they want to set up. As I have said, it's like, it's just going to be a case of, look, there's going to be the regular defense options that are annoying. You know, I could pick and choose some. Like Mordo was an annoying defender last month, last season, and I'm sure that it would be equally annoying. The same way that I've got a few other defenders that would be considered to be annoying if I so chose them even. So yeah, this is just going to be down to how you figure out you want to rotate with the latter weeks of Gladiator Circuit. I think Victory track might not be too bad to get out of, but I think as soon as you hit that week 3 to 4 on Gladiator Circuit, if you're there, it's going to be a little bit more trickier. And having some like really good options is going to be the thing. I also think that players this particular season are going to go away from their normal attackers and not so much the normal defenders. We always seem to get the same defenders, the same annoying ones. Like, you're going to see the same, like your Korgs, your Atumas, your Baron Zemos, your Absorbing Mans. The list goes on. And look, it'd be fun to play into the meta. We'll have to see how things go, and I'll probably do a follow-up to this next week as we try and learn a bit more about the way that this this particular meta is shifting. So, yeah, good luck to everybody in the grind. Check out the link in the description for the spreadsheet. I will try and make these more infographic-y in future. It's just the problem is time. Anytime I'm like, I've got time, it's like I either do an infographic version of this or I don't stream Act 8.3, and it's like it's a real tough balance with time. In the future, hopefully things get better, but yeah, like I'm still able to produce this for you as quickly as possible. Thanks very much for the support. Shout out to Misty K, and check out some other content which will be located on screen, and I'll see you later on, hopefully for the Act 8.3 live stream. Cheers everybody, see you later, bye bye.